Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Beyond the Summit presentation of the Starladder I-League European Series between Hellraisers and Clovers and Lepricon. We had some technical issues getting online, but we're here and now, and we're a little bit late getting into the draft. So without further ado, I'm Blaze. Thanks for tuning in, and let's check out what the teams are here today. Looking at the matchup right now, we see a tiny Wisp opener coming from 4CNL. No surprise since they've got the Wisp Lord EGM here, able to rock that hero in so many ways. Often you'll see IO Tiny succeeding more when you second phase pick it. You have to give away the details of their strategy when they go for this play, and there are obviously heroes that can counter the IO Tiny, the relocate factor, or the way they farm. But in the end, it's like 4CNL are just so confident with this duo that they'll pick it up in phase 1, making sure that the Wisp doesn't get banned a little bit later on. So now we have just a quick look at bans real quick. Shadowfiend, Doom, Darkseer, and Broodmother all taken out in phase 1. Batrider, Bane, Wyvern, and the Night Stalker taken out in phase 2. So, along with the IO Tiny, it looks like they're running the Tusk. You want somebody that helps set up the relocate. So you have like a Beastmaster Roar, a Clockwork Shot. In this case, it might just be as simple as the Snowball coming from the Tusk. Just buying you time for that relocate delay to come into play. And yeah, for you to start wailing away at some juicy targets. In the meantime, though, the Hellraisers have picked themselves up the Undying, the Queen of Pain, and the Dazzle. They have a little bit of a deathball style themselves, just between those two supports. Undying and Dazzle provide an enormous amount of sustainability. The question is, will the heroes be tanky enough to survive long enough to be healed? If you combo up Ice Shards, Avalanche, and Toss all at once, you're actually able to just blow somebody up without even the chance of a shallow grave. I guess you can still grave in midair, but it's not easy. And the response team has to be perfect from Hellraisers, or they might just get bursted down. And that's assuming that it's not the Dazzle that's the target. Undying Soul Rip is probably not going to be doing enough to save him if they put everything they have in that one-hit combo. Hellraisers really tap into reserve time here. They were sure about the Dazzle, but now they're picking up a Lich, and this changes things quite a bit here. Looks like we're looking at a core Undying, support Dazzle in the safe lane, and Lich will probably be offlaning with that Undying. There are different ways to look at it here, but the main thing here is if you have the Chain Frost in play against IO Tiny, they have to stay relatively close. They can still split well enough to avoid Frost while still staying tethered, but it's a very small threshold. So I'm not surprised that they do want to go for the Lich ultimate, but whether or not he'll bring it up to the laning phase is another key question. Lena's going to come into play for 4CNL. Looks like that'll be their 4 or 5 position support, depending on what the Wisp wants to build. I mean, you could run like a safe lane core Lena, or even a mid Lena against the Queen of Pain and run the tiny IO in the safe lane. But it just seems like it's a change up of what you normally would want to do. So I like the hero overall. Obviously, more burst is great because they really have the potential to just kill the Dazzle at the beginning of every fight now with that Laguna Blade or Dragon Slave. But yeah, we'll have to see how they make it out of the laning phase and how they manage that. Lena, for a ranged hero, has quite a bit of attack speed. The passive Fiery Soul will allow her to, after firing off a volley of spells there, kill off the Undying Tombstone pretty quick, and I would say that's something that they were lacking. The Overcharge provides decent attack speed, but it's only making up for Tyro, who's already kind of indebted to the attack speed stat, and yeah, he just has to kind of make up for it every bit he can. Final bands coming out here, we got the Gyrocopter as well as the Huskar taken off the table. And yeah, we're going to be looking at this last pick here, Hellraisers, with about 40 seconds on the clock, but it doesn't take them long to think about what they actually want here. The Alchemist is going to be coming out to play. So I think they want to run this Alchemist in the safe lane. I mean, if you build him right, Alchemist can still be a decent mid laner. It's IO Tiny. It does come with risk. Usually you just want to sit there, get a bottle, use Acid Spray a lot, get some kills, and stay at a safe position until level 6. But against IO Tiny, you're never in a safe position unless you're under tower with a Dazzle TP at the ready. So to relieve pressure, I think they want to put the Queen of Pain in the mid, but we'll have to see.
Weaver.
Anyways, Weaver's actually come out for 4C and L, so here that we don't often get just a relatively on pickup, but it's not as much of a dead hero as a lot of people would say. I still think he has a lot to bring to the table, not necessarily like carrying the game on his shoulders, but in a dual core situation like this Tiny and Weaver are presenting, it actually brings a lot of value. So, Weaver in particular here, I'm not exactly sure. The Geminate attack does work on Tombstone. Can move very well in the fights, in the skirmishes that they're probably going to be forced to enter into in the jungle, but otherwise, I'm not exactly sure for the pick. So we'll have to see exactly what their strategy has in store for us. I really think a big aspect of the hero, though, is just the mobility. Shikuchi allows you to get into play. With Io Tiny being just so fast on their feet, relocating across the map, Snowball coming in from the tusk, everybody's moving very, very quickly. You want to be able to keep up, and I think Pycat will be able to do that nicely with the Weaver, while still having the ability to jump away from, let's say, a burst combo from the Queen. You drop down to 20% HP, back up to full you go, and you'll be just fine. The last thing I'll is that against Chain Frost, which again is going to be a bit of an issue this game for 4C they now have a hero that automatically gets hasted movement speed. That allows you to really limit the effectiveness of the Chain Frost very early in that combination. So a lot of you guys are asking about the names. I'm not 100% sure. Like I said, I was dealing with some technical issues at the start. So right now we've got two stand-ins, Jitsu and Love O. It has no icon, just a question mark there, so I'm not 100% sure if the host or if we're looking at somebody else. I mean, Alchemist is certainly a host hero. In his own right, he has a lot of potential there, but it looks like we're ready to go. So we'll leave that to the imagination, and maybe I can find out for game 2. For now, I'll just call him by his current tag, which is It's Lovo. Alright, so Yasuo's actually going to be buying both Corey and Wards. Very interesting here, as EGM is now going to be running on the 4-position Wisp, is going to be getting his bottle out early, and probably going to be taking farm priority over the Tusk. And then the Lina will be actually taking the solo lane, which is going to be up top here, it looks like. So, yeah, interesting style overall to bring to bear against Hellraisers here. The support Tusk is great, but you usually want a little bit of tankiness on him. Otherwise, he's probably going to die whenever he dives in a little bit deep. Now, I would say the Hellraisers don't really have the best lineup to finish dives. Other than the Undying Tombstone, they really just don't have good control under towers. They really, you can go right on top of them, they can walk away, you can put some damage on their back, but in the laning phase, they're much more about keeping heroes alive than they are about controlling the enemy heroes and getting kills on them. And I think that's another reason why it's so good. It's like, what is going to stop the Weaver from doing exactly what Weaver wants to do here? You've got the Unstable Concoction, which is still a projectile animation, and then maybe a mid to late game Hex for the Queen of Pain. Otherwise, this Weaver has no control against him, and that's the thing they're punishing here. They say, you want to draft no silences, you want to draft minimal hard stuns, we'll bring in clickety-click the Weaver, and I think Pygat's going to be doing amazing things with this hero. 4CNL's lineup, it's just great in the sense that it's not going to be under any real pressure to get things done, and at level 6, we'll become nigh immortal. We're ready to go, finally. We get the gun boss coming through. Shots low, double mango build, leading charge here for the Hellraisers. We're seeing him playing on this Undying in the off lane. You've got It's Love O on the Alchemist, just trying to get all those farming items from the onset, and of course he's hoping for that level 1 bounty rune. We've got Afro Ninja here on the Queen of Pain, looking for the early no tally start. She's going to be taking a side lane, and along with that, of course, we've got Gotham on the Lich, going to be playing that 5-position support, while Dazzle, he's got sentries. It looks like he wants to unlock the Dire Hole when he gets back up top, but for now, we might have a Clash Bamboo. Down below, but they get the vision from the top. Pycat's there, ready and waiting, and they do scout out this early movement. So the big plan is who gets this bounty rune. Wisp bounty rune, he gets a bottle. Alchemist gets a bounty rune, he gets 500 gold. So it looks like it's going to be both. The Wisp is going to get the rune he wants. Which is far more important in my mind. But along with that, we've got one ward. We're not going to see the ward up on like the high ground here, over by the rocks. The ward does block too, and is one of the better ones. It'll be harder to de-ward. Just going to take care of this one, and that gets pinged out pretty early on. In fact, they didn't even break trees, or did they? Okay, they did break one swatch of trees. It's not ideal for stacking and pulling, but I'm sure EGM can manage. This guy, he was probably one of the first really good Wisp players. There were like 4 at the time, and he was definitely in the top 2. And it was just bringing things every single game he played with Wisp, which was pretty common since nobody wanted to ban it at the time, as is pretty much the case now. So we've got Nico Yapsor in the dual lane. They were hoping to keep the Alchemist safe, so they brought him to the mid here, but it is going to be a little bit difficult even with the Lich sacrifice. Your Wisp Tiny versus Lich Alch. Wisp is going to be going for some mid pulls, and he gets a troll spawn off the bat. That is amazing. But I'll check him down bottom, make sure Pykat's fine. He's going to be fine. This guy, how do you kill Pykat as a Dazzle Undying? I just don't know. It's almost as ridiculous as the Queen of Pain getting killed off here on the top lane. Like, there's some chance F1 Ninja goes down. He misplays it if he gets too aggressive. But Pykat should be just fine, even under Sentry Wards. That being said, he does have to get back after for his damage and last hits, because Shikuchi does start off with a 12-second cooldown. But he's fine. So going back over to the mid pull, this only range creeps will allow you to go for the mid pull as Wisp here, but range creep spawn, it is going to be the Dark Troll Summoner, and all you have to do is just tether once you've been attacked by the troll, and you can go ahead and farm that up. So EGM gets a fast level 2 without taking it from the Tiny, and he's feeling really good about his start here, as they essentially have made up for the deficit the Lich sacrifice created. The Lich is behind the Wisp, and that's a really good thing for EGM. Now he's gonna maybe buy some Sentry Wards, try to unlock this. And of course, whenever he gets a chance, he wants to put pressure on this Alchemist. We're gonna see the toss back through the Tether Slow as well. Just a brief bit of damage, but with these spirits as well, they should find this kill. He's got a Salve, he's got a bottle, but it's just not enough to keep him alive. He will be going down for the first blood, and yeah, he's not getting much out of this lane at the moment. I really do feel like if played right, Iotani can beat Alchemist Lich any day of the week. But they forced this because they didn't want to face the Lina Tusk up top, so I understand they wanted to rotate the Alchemist to a comparatively safer position, but man, this is not safe. EGM, Sexy Membo just running a train over Havos, presumably, but now we're going to see at least a Shallow Grave in the heals, keep him up. They won't be able to finish him off unless Bambo goes for the big dive, and in fact, he might be dying for his greed. Goes in, double damage rune, brings down the low armor timing very quickly, and Alchemist with some heals from the Dazzle will be just fine. So they were prepping that gate for a long time. They were hanging around here for a while, but all the same, they're there in the nick of time to keep that Alchemist farming. The Yapsor maybe could go for boots, but I think he wants to go for the Flying Courier here. Yeah, with the Wisp being so just preoccupied getting Urn up and all these things, it's on the Tusk to pretty much buy everything, so... another play, tossed back through the tether, but the Lich is going to be here. I'm not sure they get this kill this time. He is got just enough HP that it's not worth the dive, so he's going to be alright, but still under heavy fire here until he gets level 6. We do see a little bit more warding coming out. They get the Sentry Ward here. It's going to be fine to block full off, but bottom, actually, Shotslow trading hits pretty heavily with Pykat here, and he's going to be going for it once again, but of course Shotslow is already back, heading home to base. Ninja, a little bit of heavy pressure here on the top lane. Not the Tusk involved. Tusk really can't connect with that snowball if Queen of Pain has her blink up. At least it's not likely. But all the same, Ghost seems to be doing some pretty good work here. Dual rotation here, looking for that bounty rune, just hoping for the 50-50 RNG. Build that Alchemist up. Of course he's going to get the refill in the rune either way, but if he gets the bounty rune, it's just oh so sweet. And it's going to be Illusion. Pretty much the worst rune to pick up of all of them right now. When you get a Radiance, Illusion's nice, but not until that point, really. So they're just going to go ahead and take back over the mid lane and try those last hits. Right now it's 12-0 for the Alchemist, 17-4 actually for the Undying. So while the Weaver can't be killed easily, he is losing a lot of his max HP to Decay, and he's only 15-1 in comparison. Pretty good for the Undying to start off here. We actually have a flank coming in, but it looks like it's not going to be enough to catch out the Lich. BGM looking for that opportunity, but nobody could really get their first spell to connect. So looking over levels, early pulling and of course the Lich sacrifice is a big aspect of this matchup, as we see Gotham slipping away there. But do they want to take stacks? Oh yes they do. Oh, this is the perfect combo to do it here. We're just gonna see the avalanche toss right on the creeps. 4 creeps remain and they're gonna take that count down very quickly. Alchemist really wants some of this. He'll try to acid spray, but actually getting all of that. Oh no. They go in, they commit a lot of mana to get some nice creep for themselves, but Alchemist still gets 2 or 3 there, and that's definitely not what they're looking for. I love the little quick hits on the zombies as EGM, with the lack of turn rate, Wisp is able to just clean those up in his full. Still though, Alchemist in a much happier position having secured that stack set, and they also get these sentries to make sure that it's not warded up in the future. That was a blind play, as Alchemists are very frequently known to have that stack up, but even still, it was not as effective as 4CNL wanted it to be. Lena TPing back. We're going to see a lot of TP escapes this game, most likely from 4CNL, without any real hard disables other than the Alch stun. It's going to be pretty easy to just TP away from a tough spot. Alchemist will find himself a double damage turn. Weaver not really able to punish that at all. And Wisp just providing some mid lane heals. Overcharge. Oh no, no overcharge! Wow! That is actually ridiculous. Going for a damage roll. This is all about, this is essentially, screw you Alchemist, I'm going to kill you. And maybe they will, no. Going back under tower is going to be fine. But yeah, going 2 spirits here is actually pretty insane. Usually you'll see at level 2, at least by level 3, 1 point in overcharge. Because as you can see there, EGM TP'd from the fountain, bottle charges at the ready, but Bambo is still less than half life because the Wisp couldn't self-inflict. Still looking for an opportunity though. He wants to gank King. He wants to get his first earn charge, but we're gonna see more action up top. So we'll resume back here. After Ninja looking to pursue, but they just don't have the control. They'll keep them away for the whole, but they can't actually lock them in place for right now. Oh, big dive here. Good spirit damage. Shot low. He has his soul rub up in just a couple seconds here. Will pop it off. But Pyke just hooks in the tombstone while the dazzle comes in. EGM nearly dying to that zombie heal, but Shotlow should be able to dive for the kill here. Shallow Grave not going to be in play, and EGM still wants more. He's not aggroing the tower, so he can keep going underneath it and do some good spirit damage. Though it looks like he had just to thread the needle on that one. The way he's going to have to pop the Shallow Grave. And Weaver's just gonna ulti back. No more dives. He knows there's no more rotations. He knows there's nobody else to come to punish him. So he's just gonna go in for the heavy dive. Now we'll see Gotham looking for that opportunity. He has a little bit of vision, but EGM, he looks just healthy enough to survive that magic stick. Oh, the last hit will get him. I don't think it's. So in the end, a very heavy dive, a lot of time spent, and it ends up just being a 1-1. Between 4CNL and Hellraisers. In the meantime, the Wisp is away from his Tiny. Just got level 4, so he does finally have that point in overcharge, but Bambo, what is your play, man? So they have vision here on Chochlo, gonna try to close in distance on him. Gets some move speed on Pycat here, but they just can't keep him away from his tower. They go in with the flank, there's the avalanche, and toss him up for the kill. Another tombstone going down. Dazzle, what are you doing here, man? This doesn't seem like their fight. They just keep on going in one by one, and they are taking a lot of damage here. Yeah, Jitsu pops the early Shallow Grave. Doesn't get tossed on. It's going to be an urn that ticks him low. They kill off the Lich, and they find him in the trees there. That's going to be a triple kill. They just went in nearly one by one there. Had no chance to actually get any return kills. And feeding themselves. I'm really not quite sure what that ended up being. In the meantime, though, the Tusk did go down. I can't actually bring up the log of who killed him, but I'd assume it's the Queen of Pain ultimate coming into play. F and NJ popping the ulti on the Tusk, most likely in the top lane, and getting that kill for himself with the early ultimate usage. Versus is only a level 4 Tusk with no real items. That kind of stuff had to happen when you want to commit the resources to bring him down. She's able to get the top tier 1 deny against Nikwa. Really good for preventing 4CNL from snowballing too hard, but it doesn't nearly begin to triple kill. Interesting fact here, Tiny has 2,800 gold currently. Normally if you were building up this much gold, you'd look for something like a Blink Dagger. But he's gone beyond that by far. No Midas, no Blink Dagger. I'm a Shadow Blade. There you go. This is the Bambo way, honestly. This guy will go Shadow Blade on his offlane Earthshakers, on his Magnus, just pretty much any hero that can find those gank opportunities. It costs a mana, but Whisper's going to try to make up for that with probably Arcane Boots soon. And yeah, it's going to be a very surprising aspect of that you won't really expect. This is pure assassination right here. And he just wants to kill the Alchemist. This is another kill Alchemist build. The Spirits early on was designed to take the Alchemist's life, and now the Shadow Blade is going to be just ganking up jungle constantly. And they're just going to try to control this entire part of the map. Alchemist might even have to go into the Radiant jungle to farm.
Radiant's middle tower
As far as the Alchemist farm go, we'll switch over to net worth and see that he is top of the charts here, 5,500, and clearing out the Mud Golems, which will give him some really greed stacks. But Bambo, Shadow Blade, even when you're hasted, it's impossible to keep you alive. The grave is nearby, the haste rune is there. You feel so confident in your ability to stay alive, and yet it's just absolutely crushed by the burst combo I was talking about in the draft. So they're going to probably take this tier 1 tower now, and Bambo already showing off just some really new ways to play the Tiny. I would say that there's absolutely no way that even Bambo builds a Shadow Blade unless they're up against an Alchemist. I think that's the real catalyst for action outside of 4CNL. And as we've seen plenty of times, the Alchemist matchup turns between Greed and Punishers. And right now, 4CNL are doing a really good job of controlling this Alch. As I said before, he has farmed up enough for that Sacred Relic. Relocate now available for EGM. But that's pretty much just allowing Pycat to do Pycat things at the bottom. Like, if the Queen of Pain jumps down to try to suppress Pycat, he's going to get relocated on as soon as the Blink's on cooldown. We're actually going to see Weaver not react in time with a time lapse, not tanky enough to withstand, and he'll just be going down. Speaking of, yeah, just caught up by the Bambo Shadow Blade. A lot of movement speed here, and it looks like they take the jungle there once more. Oh no, they didn't get it. The Alchemist will not be claiming any last hits here. He wants to claim some blood. He'll be going in. They got the Undying Tombstone, but it's only one zombie spawn each. They go ahead, split the chain cost, and then relocate back home fine. Now they're actually going to look to engage. They've got the flank here with the Lina. They're going to look to burst down one hero extremely quickly. No one's able to concoction. There's no punishment, but they do focus EGM. The most vulnerable target here. EGM will fall, the Undying as well, but Nico is now in a hot spot, drops the Lightning, and will bring down the Alchemist. Now Weaver's coming in. The Tombstone is still alive for a moment, and they're going to be snowballing here on to Gato, who is not under Shallow Grave. He had just used that on himself a little bit too early. Now we're going to see the runaway of the Queen of Pain and the Dazzle, but one of them will be falling here. It looks like Yajitsu will be their final casualty. So, no, after Ninja actually caught out. They're going to dive all the way to the tier 3 tower and get a triple kill for Pycat. Just insane here. 12.5 minutes in. 4CNL just running a train over Hellraisers, doing exactly what they need to do to dominate this Alchemist farm and make sure he doesn't get too big. They don't have a relocate up for 20 seconds, so Pycat's just having a little bit of fun here. But look at the ward suppression right now. But earlier on, we see like pull blocking wards here and here. I think they even had one in this General Vista. Now look at where all the wards are. We had a little bit of vision control on the western front, but now we see all this actual vision coming out here from the Radiant. Even if you de-warded one of these, they still know exactly what your Alchemist is up to. But they
Dire's structures are fortified.
Some very, very heavy dives.
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
Push down the mid lane. Take care of that.
Dire's middle tower
Pycat's not going for like a Solar Crest or anything here. He's actually going to be going for that Desolator, it looks like. Tiny. Just jumping in. No problem at all. Ice Shard. Avatos. Dead Undying. This hero, he builds up a lot of nice HP in the fight, but he doesn't have a lot of natural HP, and you see his items don't help in that capacity. So it's a quick 2-hit combo. And now look at that KDA. Undying is not living up to his name. 0, 4, and 3. The Tiny 6, 2, and 6, and really just steamrolling. Alright, coming in the flank here. Sentry Ward will scout him out once he comes out of the fog of war, but can they react in time here? He's got so many heals coming in from EGM that I don't think this damage is going to matter too much. They're actually going to break the relocate. No, EGM whiffs it completely. And they're going to be feeding some kills here. They don't get out for Ninja. They lose the Tiny, and now Pycat going in deep. Even when they're losing, they're still getting kills because of the aggression supported by Pycat here. But that being said, the Tiny loss was a pretty significant error. They tried to relocate the Tiny up, but EGM started with the tether, then relocated, then hit his tether key again, and that broke it. And unfortunately, that means that Tiny is not going home the way he wants to. So he's going to have to probably TP to mid lane, and they're going to try to force this here while the Chain Frost and Sonic Waves are on cooldown. Oh, whoa. Big TP here from Ninja. Can he actually get Yamsor out of this, though? No. EDM pops the urn, spell heal with the tether, and now they'll just be bringing him down naturally with the quick Walrus Punch. So, a little bit of an overextension from Ninja. It's just a good grouping response from 4CNL. They know that they can fight when ultimates are down for Hellraisers, and so they're pressing that advantage every moment they can. Weaver's Desolator will be coming out pretty soon. And I honestly feel like now Hellraisers have to play full defense. Like, this is a time that I would advocate for going for the mechanism on the Alchemist if possible, but it looks like it's going to be the Lich to try and pick that up, and we'll see if he gets it in time. Right now he's got enough for, yeah, he actually is close. 300 gold away. Since he's only brown boots, and since Dazzle is buying almost everything, Gotham's actually very, very close to the mechanism, but Power Spike's not going to be coming until 17 or 18 minutes, and Bambo will have the tier 2 tower for sure by then. But Ninja looks for the deny. Bambo doesn't really know what's... Well, he does actually know what's behind him, unless there's a smoke. Like, there's a possibility there's a smoke behind the Queen of Pain, but otherwise this ward gives you a lot of confidence, and Alex gives you that easy last hit potential. Now the flank coming in, Bambo sees it, Bambo doesn't care. He's actually gonna maybe look to go for the Tiny here. Jaijutsu's sitting right next to him, but if they relocate with the Laguna Blade, then it just doesn't matter. So right through the tree line here, there's no Sentry Ward in play, Bambo waiting it out. Now we're gonna see actually Lich dropping down bottom. Under the Tombstone, it's going to be the Chain Frost bouncing decently, and the Sonic Wave coming out as well. Pycat will, however, slip away with a very nice time-lapse, and that's going to be the death of the Tusk. And again, the ultimate's committed. Although you did just lose your 5 position Tusk, much more importantly, I would say, and we'll see SXC Bambo TP in just a second here, I think. No? Interesting. So they're just going to go for the tether away. And that's just fine. But yeah, so I would actually say it's perfectly fine to trade here for those 2 big ultimates. The Lich right now is still level 8, so the cooldown is 2 full minutes. The Sonic Wave, of course, is not AG upgraded, so it's 135 seconds. So trading those 2 ultimates for a Tusk, you're able to rebound and just push every tier 2 on the map. And we'll see that most likely in mid here in just a second. So, good position for CNL to be in once again. Pycat building up his Midas, getting that siege creep value. And I guess Bambo's going for the Agadem, so it's either Ags or BKB, and I think Ags is better. Obviously it's core to the hero, as we normally see it, but this isn't exactly the normal build. This is the Assassination Tiny to a unique extent. And they'll just keep controlling the jungle. Alchemist, he's only found himself 98 last hits despite having a Radiance, and that's really what 4CNL have accomplished this game. They're still maintaining a substantial net worth at over 9,000. Yeah, I said it. And experience is actually closing in on 7,500 here now, as we see that last tick. But looking at specific net worth, Pycat with the Mites is actually outpacing the Alchemist, and the Tiny is bringing up the rear just slightly. This is actually a really good suppression for 4CNL, but we see Hellraisers trying to break out, trying to find their opening. The next time their ultis are cooldown in particular. Right now they're just playing literally 4 protect 1 while their base is being struck down. I'm not sure about this. We're actually going to see a TP cancel, not in time. Very long snowball away. Alchemist though, they will maybe want to cancel him, but he's in trees and he'll be safe. So in the end, they just force some TPs back. It's literally 4 protect 1 down bottom lane. Then they get almost half the tier 3's HP. And then finally, also looking for. And of course, there's no risk to the Tiny with the relocate always available. So now Roshan seems to be the pick. You got a Desolator, you got the map advantage, The only thing you have to worry about are those pesky ultimates, and I expect maybe a smoke play. Yep, have them up top here. But they're going to be looking, they're going to find EGM. It's actually better to find the Wisp here than Tiny, and they're going to commit the Chain Frost just to get it. They do, however, get dust on the Tiny, but they don't have stuns! Oh, their Achilles heel is that TP cancel, and that's just not going to happen. They do everything right there. They find the Wisp, so he can't relocate to save the Tiny. They get the dust out and catch the Tiny. But at the end of the day, they lose to a damn TP scroll. It's just so sad that they don't have any real to save once the Chain Frost is used and of course, the concoction's out of range. Get TPing right from under their nose. At this point, there's just no way to punish it. They need a Hex on this Queen of Pain. Like, they honestly can't afford to go anything else. I mean, like, Yule Scepter would even be appropriate just to get a way to cancel those channels. Just a huge weak point of the Dazzle and dying naturally. And we'll see that Yule is coming out from Nikwa. Easy combo, Shasha will get the Shallow Grave, but he gets out of here. I don't know. Good Magic Wand, good Soul Rep, Nikwa under some fire here. Gonna go for the Laguna attempt to bring down Shashlo, but it's actually gonna be a re-engage here in just a second if they relocate. They don't have to relocate, but they might want to save the Absol here. He's taking a lot of damage very quickly there, and there's the relocate coming in from the side. Nice connect from Gotham, but Highcat and Sexy Bambo are very scary here, and they can pretty much two-hit whoever they want. It's gonna be Shashlo. The Grave, back off cooldown. Very nice Grave from Yajitsu. And that is going to time out the relocate. But now Pycat right on top of Shotslow, and finally he does go down. No shoes will be eaten today. 12,000 net worth. Less than 7,500 experience. Still, a substantial advantage for CNL. So, the Aghanim Scepter, the big tree, up for the Tiny. Able to break the base pretty soon. So the big thing is they have a huge win condition here. Anytime Hellraisers really push out across the river, and this creep wave is kind of in this position here, they're always able to make the relocate play out. So they should be able to get this continuous siege presence here on the side lane, and this is going to be just the easiest way in for CNL to close this one out. Looks like Bambo playing with fire a little bit, but GM and the Tusk, they're both pretty high. So we're going to see the Octarine Core pick up for the Alchemist. Some people will ask why no Radiance. Well, just needs HP, and the Manta style provides very little. So just allowing him to get this Octarine Core up, he'll have his Chemical Rage up much more frequently, and yeah, he'll just be able to survive. He gets lifesteal from the Radiance, from the Acid Spray, and shorter cooldowns on everything. So just all in all, I would have to say Manta style is overrated on the hero right now, and we'll probably see that trend go away pretty soon. But in the meantime, Bambo far forward, but again, nothing really to ever punish him. EGM, how many earn charges? Okay, just the 2 earn charges, but in the meantime, they're putting out split pressure. Pycat, despite the ice armor, just chewing through this tier 3. They're going to go for this smoke play. They need to make something happen proactively. They're going to be hunting the Wisp here. EGM now visible. This could be a great Chain Frost. Sonic Wave comes out, but the Glimmer Cape keep EGM up for now. They will get the Chain Frost out, and it will kill off both. Cat's still down bottom, takes down the tier 3, but that's not Rax, and that's actually a huge kill change for Hellraiser. But Yajitsu not getting the chance to pop the Shallow Grave, and Pycat might just dance the dance of the Weaver now that the Sonic Wave's on CD. But probably better off just farming elsewhere. This gives some breathing room for the Alchemist. We actually are going to see his net worth jump up to maybe even parallel to Weaver here as a result of those kills. The Tiny Wisp pickup there is actually immense. So really good usage there. Looks like Relocate was expended as well. I'm curious if the Chain Frost mini stun canceled that. Alchemist finishes the Octarine. And I'm curious what it goes next. I mean, he could still go for the Manta and try to use the Naga Siren-esque split push aspect advantage, but you almost just need to go for more. Hex will be up on FNJ soon. It's probably coming up on the Weaver next, so the response to that, I would imagine. And there we go. He just coming in to Sexy Bambo's hands. He's going to be the big bad Tiny with the extra life. Now, yeah, Wisp is just going to be able to stay behind him and guarantee that he will survive through the fight. Wisp becomes a huge focal point at this moment. If Hellraisers can find a way to burst down the Wisp, they can still hold their high ground for another few minutes. But right now, it's kind of do or die for them. They're already lost to tier 3 on bottom. They're taking a lot of hits up top. You see nice little ice armor preparation from Gotham, but it just doesn't seem to be enough. Dire Courier gets killed off. The Jitsu has to go full defense here. The heat coming out. And yeah, they're just trying to repel what seems to be unstoppable at this point. The Aegis Immortal up for Bambo, and the Weaver is right back on the racks, taking down range easy. Here in mid, oh, combo coming out. Alchemist dropping low, but the Octarine 4 HP. Just enough to keep him alive. And Pycat goes then for the unarmored melee racks. Now we're going to see that the Chemical Rage expiring, at least for this brief 9-second window. Will they actually try to press their attack right at that moment? It looks like gonna slip by. Bambo's actually pretty low on HP, so they're just gonna get a refresh for a sip of the fountain, take a vacation, and see if Hellraisers try to engage on that. They're kind of ready to. If they can just close in. The problem is they need blink and stun point. And here we go, the relocate rubber band. Everybody's back in play. Great ice shards here. And we're going to see Bambo just clobbering people. It is clobbering time. It's going to be the cleave and the death of Hellraisers as Bambo and Pycat just run them over. A little ice shard to the side, just a minor block in a clump of 3 heroes. Their only ability to run away was this narrow choke point, and running through that clumps you up for the Tiny Cleave, for the Avatos. They just tear them apart, and 4CNL are in a great position to take game 1 here. But it's not over till it's over. We're gonna see the Alchemist buyback. See what he can do. Just quick Avatos Laguna. It looks like he can't do too much as he goes down. The dieback prompts the good game well played, and we are going to be going to game 2 with a 4CNL 1-0 advantage. So overall, I really like 4CNL's game plan, just farming heavily on the Tiny, enabling them to get that Shadow Blade out and just continue to gank the Alchemist. They want to really just put pressure out and to punish any real greed from their side, and they accomplish that quite a bit. They don't have enough level 1 to fight out the bounty rune exchange, but they do have plenty to fight in the jungle, and they do a great job of controlling the enemy stacks and then controlling the Alchemist himself, as he ends up being 0, 5, and 6 by the end of the game, with only 577 GPM. I mean, that is far below the Weaver, barely above the Tiny, just not where the Alchemist need to be this game. So, 4 Clovers and a Lepricon take a very nice, clean Game 1 win, maybe making Hellraisers reconsider that Alchemist pick. I mean, it was a last pick. It's not like they committed a very key aspect to their draft, picking it up, but they did pick it, and they did kind of cater that entire playstyle around it. They were lacking stuns, they were lacking disables, they just wanted to keep Alchemist alive, and you saw 3 heroes behind him almost constantly in the second half of that game. So a lot committed, not in the draft, but in the game itself, and in the end, it doesn't accomplish enough. 4CNL doing really well here, and looking forward to their game 2 to see if they can bring it to 2-0 and knock out Hellraisers there, or if we're going to be seeing a 1-1 equalizer bring us to game 3. We'll be seeing all that coming up in just a few minutes. Thanks once again for tuning in to Starladder Ian. I'm myself, Blaze, broadcasting on behalf of Beyond the Summit. If you enjoyed the commentary, look me up at BlazeCasting, and we'll see you guys in just a few minutes, game number 2.